G'day, this video covers the full build of a keyboard for a 99, which is my modern keyboard replacement for a Mitsumi TI-99 4A keyboard. I say replacement, but it's more like an upgrade for the Mitsumi keyboard, as we reuse a number of the Mitsumi parts, including the keycaps, to maintain the original look. This video isn't really for general consumption, it's more an instructional video for someone performing the upgrade themselves. You'll find all the details for this upgrade on the GitHub repo, including the Gerbers and STL files for the 3D printed parts. I'd like to thank PCB who sponsored this project and provided the prototype PCBs. If you'd like to support me, you can order the PCBs via PCB by following the link in the description to the Keyboard for a 99 project page, and you can order the PCBs directly from there. So the prerequisites for this video, I guess, are that you have the PCB and you've already printed all of the components required, which are detailed in the GitHub repository. This video really just covers the physical upgrade process. All right, let's get stuck into it. So first we need to remove the 7 screws, and you can see our brown mylar keyboard in there. It's awful, we need to get rid of that. So that's the 7 screws removed, so we'll just pop the bottom off. There we have it. So we've got our main PCB, we've got our internal power supply here, which takes a low AC voltage and converts it into DC voltage. And we've got our abomination of a keyboard here. So to get rid of this, we need to take out this power supply and then remove these, the 4 mounting screws. And we should be able to get rid of it, hopefully for good. So those 2 screws, and that's the power supply loose. And that gives us access to these screws here. Okay, and so it's just connected with this 15-pin connector. So if we just lift it up this way, and then we should be able to just pop it off like so. That's it. It's gone. Alright, so I'll just move this TI out the way and let's look at the keyboard. Alright, so here it is. So we're going to want to remove a few parts off of here. Obviously we've got the keycaps, which I've done already. And we're going to want these metal supports for strength. So we'll screw these to our PCB and that'll make it more sturdy. So optionally, you can reuse this cable, and I'll take this one off just to show you. Additionally, we want to remove these spacebar supports. So we can reuse these, or there's a different version where we can print these from scratch. But for this one, we'll reuse them. So let's get into that. So we'll just start getting these off. So we need to keep these screws that are holding on these metal brackets, because we're going to reuse those. An electric driver would come in handy about now. Okay, and so we also needed to unsolder these, which I've already done. So this is for the alpha lock button, and you just need to unsolder these wires here. This one will usually be a wire. Here I've got the fix for the alpha lock bug, which is a diode, but you also probably have a wire here. Or not, maybe you've got the diode too. Alright, and so we'll slowly pull this off. Okay, and so this particular keyboard has been fixed fairly recently, so this actually comes off, and this one works okay. So the main cause of the problem in these is this gets stuck down, and then it's unable to register the button presses correctly. So I'll just move this base out the way. So I'm going to unsolder this because I want to reuse this cable here. So while I've got this out, so now you don't want to turn this upside down or the right way around while the bottom's off, because these actuators will all fall out. But what I want is the spacebar supports, so we can get those out just by pinching them and pushing them through. There's one. And we'll go the other one. Might need pliers if you've got fat fingers like me. And that just shot across the room. Okay, so we've got those. So I'll just place this carefully to the side. Okay, soldering iron time. So you might have a desolderer, which is great, but I don't have one. So what I have is the old-fashioned solder sucker. So I'll be solder suckering all 15 of these. I might just get a piece of tape to hold this out the way. I'll just remove the stickiness, just remove it from this foam tape. I should be able to pry this off. So I'm pulling on the ribbon cable while heating up this solder. So as you can see, I'm prying these off. That's it. Nice. So one ribbon cable that will avoid landfill for now. So for now, I'll just put the keyboard back together. Alright, well, at least that'll keep it together for now. So we've pillaged all the keys, we've pillaged the spacebar clips, and we've pillaged this ribbon cable. Okay, so here's our new PCB. Looks pretty flash. So one option, if you don't want to pillage your cable, Mauser sells these cables as well, like pre-assembled, or you can just say solder on a pin header like this. So that's a 15 pin angled header, and then you can just use a DuPont cable, and this connector here is 0.1 inch pitch as well, so it's just normal DuPont. So that's another way to do it. But for this particular one, I'm going to reuse this cable. So it's important to do this first, because once the key switches are in there, you won't have access to it. So if you imagine if those are in there like that, not impossible, but tricky to solder, and why put yourself through that? Alright. That's definitely correct. Okay, time for some solder. Now I just want to get each end of this, and then we can get some hands back. I think it's on. Ooh. Man, imagine doing that with the switches on there. So I guess worst case, if you did need to service this, you'd probably just need to remove these two switches, which isn't too bad. There's only 4 pins on this side. Okay, there we go. So next, I think what we'll do is put these supports on, because they require a bracket to go in here, which again, you can probably do it once the switches are on, but I think it'll be easier to do without the switches on there. So I think it's a good idea to put some sort of tape between this bracket and the PCB, only because I'm sort of concerned about it rubbing through onto these traces. I think I'll just add the tape onto here. And then I'll just wrap it around. Cut it off here. It's like an arts and crafts project. So I'm not sure how much that'll help, but surely it's better than nothing. And poke the holes. Do the other one. Alright, so the 3D printed part. We've got these which go on the other side. I've made them long, like joined them all together because I think it's easier to handle than having individual nuts. Put the screws into the bracket. I'm not making this up as I go along. Then we put this in. So I forgot to show, I'll show you in a sec, the orientation. Yeah, so we want this horizontal bar to be on the bottom side, obviously, otherwise it's going to be going straight across the switches. The mounting position on this PCB is a little further towards the top of the board, so you'll have a little bit more cable length if you reuse the original cable, but that's fine. So next up is the switches. So these are pretty self-explanatory. They only go in one way. Just whack them in there. As he tries to put it in the wrong way. So these brackets, they shouldn't interfere at all with the switches. If yours do, you'll need to come up with something else. Yeah, I think you could get that bracket out of there or put it in with the switches in place. It's just easier not to do that. There we go. 47 switches. So, oh shit. So now what? So now I get another PCB. Whack it on top there. Flip it over. Oh. Now we want this pushed down, so I'm going to use some weights. Because we want to make sure that those keys are pushed right down into the PCB. Yeah, and we'll pick it up and see how many I missed. 1. It had to be 1. Alright. Nice. Next we'll do the diode for the alpha lock fix, and then we'll do the alpha lock button. So we use one of these latching buttons. And he goes on here. So I'll just do the corners, make sure it's pushed hard against the board. And we'll do the others. So I think that's all the soldering. I'll just give this a bit of a clean to get rid of all those white ghost marks. Nice. Okay, so the idea with these are meant to take the standard support which comes on the Mitsumi board. So you orient it with the long ends towards this flat end, and we've got the hook which goes on the short face there. And that should just clip in, and you can't pull it out. If you want to be sure, you can splay out the clips in there. So this is future Troy. The footage I recorded of removing the keys was lost, so I'll have to do that again. So this is the key puller, which I'll link below, and it's also in the GitHub repo designed by Daryl Hirschler, and it works really well for this. It was designed specifically for the TI, and all you need to do is pop it over a key and lift, and the key cap should come off. You'll find a spring underneath, and so I'll just do it. I'll try and get a better angle, and so pop it on the key and pull. So if you don't want to print one of these, another method is just fingers. And the springs, we won't be using them, but you might find some use for them. So the next one is the spacebar. So the spacebar, as you can see, is retained by these two clips on the side and has a normal spring and actuator in the center. So all we need to do is pop it off just like the other keys. So you just want to remove it a little, so it's off the plunger now, but it's still connected by the wires, like so. Remove the spring, and these clips are retaining the wire. All you need to do is push the wire forwards, like so, and it will pop off. And that's it. So that's the spacebar remove, and you can see the wire here is just sort of clipped into these white plastic clips here, but we'll keep this assembly as it is. I'll just skip through to how to add this onto the keyboard for a 99. Actually, before I do, the shift key. So I'll just pull this one off. So the shift key has got two sockets here. On the original keyboard, it just has one plunger and they just offset it, like so. But for the keyboard for a 99, I've created a specific adapter for the shift key because it has a central, the switch is central. So it's a double-sided one, and you just pop it on like so. And that'll give you a central location for the shift key. Okay, so now I'll just go to adding the spacebar on. So here's our new keyboard, the spacebar which I've removed. Now you want to have there's like an angled face, and you want the wire on the front, like on the towards the angled face, as opposed to you don't want it back here. So like so, wire, angled face, like so. Might be easier if I bring this up. It's difficult to do, let alone to do and show. So trying to get a good angle on it to show. That's it. Clip it on. And the same on the other side. And squeeze that way. Like so. So now it's hanging on there. You just rotate it around and sit it onto the adapter like so. So that's the space bar. The shift key with that double adapter just goes on like a normal key. Other special keys, so I guess would be the caps lock key. Which has this adapter which encloses the entire thing. I've printed it in red here because I was sort of printing in different colors, but that's irrelevant. And that just so clips onto here. It can be quite firm, and you need to push quite hard. And yeah, so that's alpha lock. Spacebar. And the alpha lock key is just a regular key, which goes on here. So that's it. I'll just go and fill out the rest of the keys and continue with the video. And then, so the regular keys, we have these adapters, which are made to fit on the switches with these surrounds. They should work with switches without the surrounds as well, which means they're directional. So they've got like a long side and a narrow side, and they go horizontal. So the long side goes left to right. And push that on. You can sort of see it better with this red one, how it clips in there. And then you just push your key on top. That's it. So I'll go and put all these on now. Okay, so we need to connect this cable, and so I think if we put it this way, I'll try and do this so you can see. Yeah, that was easy. And we just fold it back. Lift that up and slot it in. Good. Now the power supply board. So one thing with these, we need to line up, make sure our power switch lines up. This particular system is a power system, and so it goes through an RF modulator. Could make a component cable for this, but I haven't done it yet. Very soon though. Alright, moment of truth. Okay. Nice, so the keyboard works. One works. Numbers. Great. So the caps is on. Caps off. Alright, let's write a little program. That's awesome. Looks great. So there you go, that's the keyboard in and working, and seems to work really well.